Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So I'm here with Makenshi Critiques to do a Q&A essentially, to get to know him better and to know what his tastes are or what he dislikes in the anime. So, mine, introduce yourself. What do you do?
You mean like just in terms of reaction of my life? Or how do you
Both.
mean? Makenshi Critiques, some of you guys, there's a crossover between our communities, right? So I do Makenshi Critiques, I react to anime, I stream and that kind of thing. But in my personal life, I'm like an accountant, just boring stuff aside. Basic 11 to 7 job, man. But as a hobby, I like to react to anime and I do some seasonals, don't do some of the old stuff. Prefer doing the old stuff. And you might regret trying to get to know me, I think, maybe as the interview goes on. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Perfect. Now, let me ask you the first question, which is, why did you start your channel?
I started my channel, I think a lot of people ask me why I decided to get into this, because I only got into anime reactions about, I want to say 2015, mid-2015. It's because I used to watch Uzumaki Khan's reactions, right? Okay. Him reacting to a whole bunch of anime. I got into him through watching his Parasite reactions. I started watching his Seven Deadly Sins reactions. I was watching a few other reactions of his that I actually ended up recommending to him. Okay. And I thought to myself, you know what, this guy's a really funny guy, man. Like, he's a fellow Brit, right? He's from Birmingham, he's a fellow Brit. Mm-hmm. You're from Manchester, right? Yeah, so I thought to myself, you know what? I think there's a untapped potential there, right, for reacting to animes that some people feel don't get reacted to, or good stuff, or the gems, or that kind of thing. So I was inspired to do it off that to start a channel doing that. I actually had a YouTube channel long before, like I think I've had it since 2009 or something, right, where I was uploading like Yu-Gi-Oh card videos and unboxings of special editions and all this stuff, and I had a really shitty camera, right, like old mobile phones, right. Okay. Then I thought to myself, you know what, let's do reaction series. There's a bunch of animes people are crying out for on Twitter that no one reacts to, and people keep saying it. I thought, you know what, let me check these out, see what happens. So I decided, let me do a reaction channel. So that's how it began, you know.
That's actually a pretty great reason to start, being inspired by somebody else and then going on to inspire other people.
Yeah.
Now, what exactly do you look for in anime? Because obviously you just touched on that you like older, more classics anime. But what exactly is it that you look for when you start an anime?
I think part of it is that, like, when you're like, I was a 90s kid, right? So when you grow up later down the line, you get very nostalgic about stuff that's old or stuff that looks old, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, it's the fact that I think the stuff I used to watch early on in my life compared to the stuff I found in the modern age, right, contemporary anime, it just doesn't seem the same. So I don't necessarily, people like to think that, yeah, you're reacting to things because it's old and you're against everything that's modern just for the sake of being it. I don't think that's the case. The stuff I look for is stuff that resonates with me, right? Like things that matter to me, right? So a lot of people, somebody asked me that, what is there a common thread with the anime that you watch? For me, it's all about social, political commentary, so it's mainly politically tinged. Okay. Because I remember in my uni days, I used to be like that's kind of semi-activist, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to go to anti-Nazi League marches, anti-occupation marches. So I was very politically charged back in my uni days. Okay. So I like seeing wartime imagery, fascist imagery, dystopian kind of anime. So I kind of relate to those kind of things, which is why you see like Psycho Pass, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Shinsekai Yori in my top 10 animes. But then again, I've got Kaiji and I've got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as well up there. I mean, something that you can relate to, that's slightly grounded, right, in its themes. So those are the kind of animes I look for. Not to say I can't enjoy modern anime. I just feel that modern anime goes more for the spectacle and the goofy humor and the memes and all that stuff. So that's what I kind of look for in the shows I watch.
Interesting. I remember on the board behind you, it's saying modern anime suck.
yeah, modern anime suck. This was like 2015. Makenshi was a much more edgy, rebellious Makenshi, right? But 5 channels, I've had 5 channels go down. The 5 channels later, I've kind of been humbled almost by this community. So I'm kind of like at a mid-level, right? Where I'm not just trash. I don't make videos straight out trashing stuff. If I don't like something, I'll say it. You know, there's shows like Bacano and FLCL, right? Those 2 shows, which I don't particularly think are great shows, but I don't think they're really bad. So I have a kind of a middling approach to my critique now, right? So yeah, modern anime sucks, and except Gintama and all that stuff. I think that was just a joke that I decided to carry forward, right? Because 20 years from now, it might still be true. Modern anime might suck, so maybe, man, if I'm still doing it.
All right. Well, you touched upon some of your favorite animes in the top 10 earlier. So let me ask you, what are your top 5? If you have a top 5.
I can't give you, like, it's changed now a lot since in some of the shows I've watched, right? Like, but I can give you off the top of my head, LOTGH, FMAB, Ping Pong, Ashita no Joe, and I want to say Kaiji. I'm probably forgetting something, but yeah, those 5 animes, I'd say they're constantly shifting. But LOTGH is still pinned for me #1. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is my #1 shonen. Yeah, so those are my top 5. I couldn't tell you where the order is right now because I'm constantly revising that. But yeah, those kind of shows, and there is a theme to those shows. There's a humanity to those shows, so I think that's the reason why I hold them so high. But I've got a bunch of really interesting animes down in my bottom 5s. Cowboy Bebop's, I've got Gintama, I've got just a whole bunch of animes that you guys and you and my followers can kind of relate to and have seen us react to.
Well, then piggybacking off of that question, could you name one hidden gem, like one truly unknown hidden gem that you think everyone should watch?
Yeah, I was before our mutual friend Nick, right? Kind of, he reacted to Wolf's Rain. It was Wolf's Rain. I would tell people to watch for anime. There is one hidden gem. It's called Noein, Noein. It's almost like a Steins Gate anime, but it actually has an ongoing plot that drives it forward, and it's kind of like about multiverses, parallel universes, future timelines, or future people from the future coming back to the past. I'm not going to spoil it, but its animation is kind of crude, which is what turned people off. But if you can kind of look past the slightly crude animation, it's actually a really good story. It's got a really heartfelt characters. It's got great action. It's got great imagery. It's got some liberal use of CG and stuff. But I would definitely recommend people go check out Noein as one of those hidden gem animes.
Okay, perfect. So you just brought up animation. Now, a lot of people feel that good animation makes a good show. Great animation makes a great show. Do you agree with that? Do you think animation is everything, or do you not really care about how the animation is?
I don't really care much about animation. You know, there's like, I can swear on this interview, right? I don't want to say anything out. Yeah. You know, they say that there's Sakura fags, the people that are into fucking great animation, and if the animation isn't great, then the show is trash, right? I don't believe in that, really. I've seen a lot of shows that have middling to subpar to really bad animation, like Junji Ito Collection, which is like the adaptation of his work. I thought, animation aside, I don't really mind. I mean, I know some of you guys might see my post about 7 Deadly Sins, right? Well, I was complaining about the animation in the penultimate episode. It annoys me when it's obvious, when bad animation is obvious and it looks lazy, and if I'm invested in the manga. But I'm not one of those guys that comes off the manga with preconceived stuff. I just want to be told a good story, have good music, have good characters. That's all that really matters to me. So as much as people say, you know, and I know, like, when I'm in your streams, whenever LOTGH comes up, you know, the very moment when the elitist talk starts, right? And while we say this is so much superior to this, one thing that will never come up in that conversation is how good the animation is, and that makes it superior to anime. So it's never like that for me. It's just, give me a good story, man. Just a story that keeps on going, the characters that you kind of learn more about. That's what really matters to me. Character is the most important thing to me. So I don't think animation is one of my priorities for that, even though it does help, right? It's great to see great animated shows like Vampire Hunter D film or Red Line, a film like that with great animation, but it's not the be-all end-all for me. So
okay, that's very interesting. Since you just brought up LOTGH, we recently had an LOTGH reboot or remake, if you want to call it. So my question to you is, which anime, if it was announced today, would you be over the moon for? If it got announced today?
If it got like a reboot, you mean?
Yes, like a reboot.
Which would I be over the moon for a reboot? What needs a reboot? That's what I'm thinking. Like stuff that's gold for me from the past. Really, there's not much reason for it to be touched, in my opinion. You know, obviously, like Devilman came out, right? Like reboot of Devilman. I want Berserk to get rebooted. I'm not happy with the CT show.
Okay,
like,
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I think that needs a reboot. Hand-drawn animation, if they can do it, even if it's a short show, hand-drawn animation. I remember reading the manga up till volume 14 or 15, or The Lost Children and whatever that is, that arc. And then I'd seen the old 24 episode animation. I thought that was brilliant. I thought reboot Berserk, man. Berserk's the one franchise that needs a fucking decent adaptation, which people can go, this is awesome. You know, they did it justice, right? Create like a consortium or a collective of talent to just push it, like they did like the Hellsing OVAs, right? Hellsing OVA is like one of those seinen mangas, just like Berserk was Dark Horse manga, right? In the West, they took about 10 to 12 years to adapt it, no matter how long it took. So do that with Berserk, even if it means taking 10 to 12 years, right? It's already been God knows how many years since we got the last anime, so.
Yep, I agree with you, to be fair.
Yeah, and I'm not even invested in Berserk, and I want to have a reason to go back to it, go back to that world, right? To watch Berserk, to get into that universe, right? That dark, gritty universe. It's just they're not giving me a good enough reason to do it. And I could read the manga, but I can barely get through 20th Century Boy. 20th Century Boy is the manga series I'm currently doing, and I've been stuck on the last two volumes for like months and months and months now. I'm just not a manga guy, like reading on the screen.
Okay.
Like it's just something unnatural to me about reading manga scans. I know it's the easiest way to get it, short of actually buying the manga, which is expensive. But there's something about just, you know what I mean? I mean, we can have this discussion, right, about what you prefer, the storytelling through anime or storytelling through the manga, right?
Yep.
But yeah, so that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally a manga person over anime. But I can definitely understand the sentiment of not liking or not getting through a manga that quickly, or getting through it in of itself.
Yeah.
Now here is kind of the opposite of what we've been talking about so far, which we've been talking about series that you want to see or series that you enjoy. So let me ask you, what's your least favorite genre?
Least favorite genre? I wouldn't say. Well, the genre I give least priority is comedy. I'm like, if I have a choice between a dark gritty seinen, a battle shonen, or a straight comedy, I'll always go for the seinen or the battle shonen over the straight comedy. Not to say I don't like comedy. I've grown to like comedy a lot more since I've started watching Gintama. I watched Great Teacher Onizuka as well. I watched Sakamoto here and there, and I thought, you know what, it's pretty funny. But the least favorite genre, it's a toss up between comedy or slice of life. I'd say. Okay. I've also grown to like slice of life, but I actually like slice of life more than comedy. I think comedy is one of these things where the comedy doesn't stay fresh all the time, and you run the risk of repeating yourself. And a lot of people have heard me say, like, we watch Gintama, right? You'll eventually come to that point where you'll burn out on the comedy. That happened to me around the 260 mark for Gintama. Well, I'm giving my reasoning behind it, right? Gintama is one of the big examples of a comedy anime. When you repeat jokes, they don't stay funny. Or when you keep running, the running gag can only last so long before you go, okay, I've seen this done slightly different before. Now they're repackaging it and all that. But as long as you're invested in characters, as long as your character's good, comedy is fine for me. But yeah, the short answer is comedy is my least favorite genre. Okay. Yeah.
I can actually understand that. I used to dislike comedy as well.
Yeah.
But I've slowly gotten accustomed to it. So I can definitely understand where you're coming from. Yeah. So moving on from genre, what's your least... That's difficult to say considering you drop many shows, but what's your least favorite anime?
My favorite anime.
Your least favorite.
Least favorite anime. I I didn't like Seraph at the End. I think I always look back to that. Seraph at the End was one of those shows that people were so hyped for, right? It's got all the qualities, right? It's like almost a show made by committee, right? It's got transforming swords, it's got edgelord vampires, it's got like a military look to it, like Attack on Titan did. It was basically, for me, an anime made by committee. It just really, really terrible characters. It was a very generic show for me, man. So I'd really like I like season one. Season one got me to at least watch season two.
Okay.
About 5 episodes into season two, I just dropped that. I was like, oh, I can't stand this. I also dropped Haikyuu. Now that's not to say Haikyuu's bad. I dropped Haikyuu, and it's controversial, right? Because I never put that reaction out.
Right.
I did a reaction. I put it out for a day, and someone, cautioned me that, look, don't put a reaction out where you're just gonna get crucified, right? Nailed to a cross, right? So then I put that down. Haikyuu was also something I really didn't respond really well to, even though I've been getting into sports anime. So that really switched me off. I don't know you like Haikyuu and you really enjoy it. Maybe I didn't give it a chance, right? But I'd say Seraph at the End is one of my least favorite animes. I'm not particularly a fan of Dragon Ball either. Anything that after Z is more of a nostalgia thing for me, but I wasn't that invested. I'm not particularly interested in Dragon Ball Super. I don't even think it's so bad that I don't think it's even me worth watching it. I can understand why people will watch it though the old nostalgia fans. But yeah, those are the kind of shows that I really don't like, and I don't think FLCL is hot shit either, man. So I've not been into it. But those are the only shows I can really think that were, but just I didn't really respond to or take to. Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned earlier that your favorite thing, or one of your favorite things about an anime is its story. That can make an anime one of your favorite anime. So what can make an anime one of your least favorite anime? Is that also the story, or is that more to do with the setting, the characters?
I think setting is important, characters are important. What can make it my least favorite is fan service. Fan service is fine. I can Gurren Lagann is an anime which has fan service, but that's not all it is. There's a really strong theme and message behind that show. The action's great, the anime, it has loads of factors that outweigh its fan service. But I don't really like fan service. I hate when a show becomes convoluted. It's like so far up its own ass, trying to tell a story which could be told much simpler, and it tries to add this fake depth, right? It'd be pretentious is what I mean. I really don't like that.
Okay.
But fan service that really sticks out when you have a lack of anything meaningful to tell you, to just throw in an extended 4-minute sequence of fan service. I think that really underserves these animes, right? My belief is that if we want to take this medium seriously, and we all do take it seriously to an extent, right? You need to push the story to the front and get rid of all this fan service, right? Because it speaks to the people making the anime about what they think of the audience. So if they throw a bunch of fan service at you, that's the creators telling you what they think of you or what they think you like, right? I think that's the problem, right? That's the issue. So those are the things that can really push down an anime for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I do understand that. Now I was asked to ask you this question, so don't blame me for this question.
Okay.
Who is the best girl in any anime show ever?
Best girl, man. If I'm gonna entertain this conversation, I don't usually like entertaining this stuff, man. I'm not looking down on people who do it, because there are great female characters in anime. I enjoy like Akane and Psycho. My best waifu girl, whatever. I want to say Yoko from Ashita no Joe, man. I think she's a classy lady, right?
Interesting.
A classy lady, right? I didn't like her in the beginning, but that's like me and every other female character in animes, right? But then she grew on me, man. She was like a strong female character in a male-dominated sport, boxing. She was like an entrepreneur. But she was caring, right? I was a little bit cold to her, but I think she's a classy lady. So yeah, I'd say Yoko from you. I mean, most people who see my reaction will know that this answer was the obvious answer for me. So yeah, I'd say Yoko from Ashita no Joe.
I remember you hating her a lot at the beginning.
I was. It's because you're almost you're relating to Joe. You're relating to Joe's apprehensions of her. He calls her this rich, narcissistic woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but feel that about her, right? Because she's just trying to flaunt the cash, go around Jesusing everything, right? Waving her hand over everything and controlling everything.
Yep.
But she really did want the best for these people, and you realize that as time goes on, and she really did get those characters out. I don't want to say too much for people who haven't seen Tina Joe, but she grows very much as a character. And she's a classy chick, man. And, compared to some of the female characters we get in today's animes, right? Like Italian, France, and all that stuff. From what I've seen with screenshots and stuff, like totally out of that ballpark, man. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who told you to ask me this question?
I'm supposed to keep them anonymous. Let me just say that.
Alright.
Yeah, I think you'll know.
Okay. I think I know who it might be. Yeah. I won't say though.
Yeah. We're pretty much nearing the end right now. So the second to last question is a very simple one. In terms of anime, in terms of the anime YouTube community, who are your favorite YouTubers?
My favorite YouTubers.
And which one would you like to collaborate with?
Favorite YouTubers I want to collaborate with. You know what? This might sound like one of those like humble pie answers and stuff, but anyone I want to collaborate with or know, I already know, right? So I really like your stuff, right? Your taste in anime really aligns with mine. I'm not trying to just be flattering, right? Because you're interviewing me, right? But for example, like I like the people who I can relate to as people, right? Yeah. Normal people. I don't like these celebrities, these people that have been put up on a pedestal who do wacky shit, right? So you, for example, Ken Senpai is a really sincere guy. I really like his reactions, his response, his attitude towards anime. I like what's sort of like. To be honest, there's not many people are liking this reaction community. I know it's the weirdest thing to say. I'm kind of like half in, half out of this community. Like, I don't really get much time to watch anime. As I said, Uzumaki-kan was my inspiration for this stuff. So that's a given. And Grease Lightning Reactions, he's also someone a guy I can relate to the most online as being someone who, juggles a work life. It isn't wacky and over the top and it's just a normal dude, man. That's the kind of people I relate to. Some people who bring a normal attitude to anime. They're not like anime snob who just take the piss completely.
Okay. And
they're not people who are just career, like, it's a career to them, right? You know what I mean? Like they're telling you what you want to hear because you're the bank, you're bankrolling them, right? So those are the kind of reactors I like watching. I like sincere, genuine reactors. I like to hear people who talk a lot over the animes. Because you live stream, you're constantly talking over the live stream, and you've got that audience that you connect with, right? I like that as well. When I get the chance to catch up, I'm sorry I don't catch up on everything that you do. I do like to touch base with what people are doing, right, as and when I can. But apart from that, in the anime community, there's not really anyone else I really think. I was more clued in a couple of years ago. Now I just really don't get time to. Okay. So you guys, I'd rather collaborate with you guys, if I'm honest, if that's the truth. If there was one person I could really, really collaborate with, I've been trying to get hold of King Recon for ages. There's been reasons for me to get hold of King Recon, but that guy keeps ducking me. And I don't know what it is, right? I'm going to say it now, but I'm going to be totally honest, right? Every time I try to do a Gintama thing with him, or Jojo with him, or Daniel tries to do something with him, he's one of the guys that's like into the whole Jojo Gintama thing. Yep. He's always busy or something like that. So maybe him for once, just to ask him some questions, because I've got a lot of questions to ask that guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the final question, which is an interesting one. If you could give yourself, say 2015, so when you first started your channel, if you could give yourself any tips on what to do for the future, not just anime related, but if you want to keep it anime related, sure. Yeah. Just what about when you start your channel? What would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself? Avoid Funimation like the plague, man. I would avoid Funimation like the plague. Like, if you're gonna do the anime, do it with time, man. Straight from the off, man. We're very inclined to like want to give our audiences as much as we can, right?
Yep.
For the metrics and for the traffic. When you're building a channel, I think traffic matters a lot. There's no shame in wanting traffic, right? For me, it's a hobby, a side hobby, reacting. But that said, you do want traffic. You do want people watching the animes you're watching, or taking on board what you're saying, or sharing your your attitude, right? I would tell myself avoid Funimation like the plague. Be really, really careful about the shit you say about people on video, right? Because this is a candid interview, right? Like,
Yeah.
I felt like my second channel went down. I'm giving people the history. Second channel went down because I did a reaction video to Forever World doing a rap. Now, I don't want to say nothing bad about the guy. I don't know the guy personally, right? But all I'll say is that whenever anyone's talked about that guy, they've had nothing but bad things to say about him. But that said, I reacted to a rap video. I was really cocky back then, right? I was doing anything and everything that people were telling me because I was reintroducing myself to anime, right?
Okay.
I was re-exploring anime. I would tell myself, look, chill with those videos, man. Just keep it on the level, right? And do what you love and react to what you love and be sincere about it. And avoid Funimation like the plague. That's exactly what I tell myself from 2015, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's a very great interview, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, thank you very much for being here, especially as the very first person. You know, that's always.
No, man. It's an honor to be here, man. Like, thank you for thinking of me first, man. Because people don't usually think of me, man. I'm very opinionated, right? People would rather go here or there, but we know each other, right? We're familiar with each other. But thanks for having me on, and I hope you guys will support these videos, right? That Prince is doing, and support his future interviews as well, because I'm sure he's got a bunch of really good people, cool people lined up for this stuff.
Yeah, I do. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Because if not, then we're gonna end it here.
Anything I want to say? Nothing really, man. I think your community is great. Greece community, our communities are very much in line, right? So there's nothing I could say that I haven't said before, they haven't heard from me, that you or thing. But I just go, just keep an open mind about anime, as I say to people. Just keep an open mind. Just because you think someone's elitist and saying these old animes are great and that, just don't take their word for it. Just go and watch those shows and decide for yourselves, man, if that anime is worthy of the time or not. So I'd say that for people.
That's pretty great advice. Well, I've got one last thing to say, and that is, everyone, please go ahead and check out Makenshi Critiques. The channel will be in the description down below. As you've heard already, he does reviews, reactions, and gaming as well. With some of the games that you're currently playing being, I believe, Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I've just finished Final Fantasy 12. It took me 12 years to finish that game. I started on PS2. Left it, remaster came out. It's legit almost 12 years to the day where I've actually ended up finishing it. I stream here and there. I don't stream as much as you do, but yeah, there's a bunch of games in September coming out I might be streaming as well here. So
perfect. So everyone who's been watching this, thank you very much for giving us your time of day, and I will see you all next time. Until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day. Bye.